Here we are, beautiful September morning. Here we have the logbook. Every driver has to sign the book when he goes out in the morning. Number of the horse, name of the driver, license number of the driver, time out, time in, and the medallion number of the carriage. These books have all been filled in. I'm going to fill in my name and number. Also, we have to stamp a trip card in the time clock here. And that tells the vets, the ASPCA, the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Health Department, what time I left the stable with my horse. We've got the water there, we've got the oats there and the grain. I just want to show you here. Every horse also has on his harness an identification number, 2493, and that same number is on his hoof, and that same number is on the trip card that I just punched on the time clock, and it's in the time book. Okay, off we go to the park. Taking his time at his leisure. It'll take us about 15 minutes to walk up to the park. And here we are in Central Park. We're on the southern end of the park here, not far from the Plaza Hotel. Just want to show you some of the truths about the horses in the park, as opposed to the lies and horrible stories that the humaniacs will tell you about this business. They managed to take our exceptions and make them sound like the rule. 5 years, and we've never had an accident. The horse has never had a problem here. Has done nothing but put on weight and thrive as a New York City carriage horse. But you've also seen him up on the farm on vacation if you've watched the other videos. Our horses are walking most of the day. They trot a little bit on the way home, and sometimes to make it through a light. But in general, this is the pace that we're going. One thing to remember, even though the carriage might appear heavy to you, the horse is not carrying the carriage. The horse is on the four wheels. The only weight that's on the horse is the weight of the leather harness, which doesn't weigh that much. We also have a brake here in the carriage, and that's to keep the carriage off the horse as he's going down the hill. So now walking down this hill, he actually isn't pulling anything and isn't holding anything back. As you can see, the breeching strap there is loose, the traces are loose, so basically the horse is just walking down the hill. When we get to the flat, I take my foot off the brake, and it's a pretty easy pull for the horse. In the supermarket, those bags of groceries can be really heavy. But when you put them in the grocery cart, your 5-year-old child could push them around the store. That's the same principle that the carriage is working on. It takes 4 licenses to have a horse and carriage here at Central Park. The horse must have a license, the carriage must have a license, the driver must have a license, and of course where the horses are stabled, it also must have a license. So those 4 licenses must be in place before any of us can go to work. On the left is the zoo, which our animal rights zealots would probably like to close as well. Here we are anyway in the park on a beautiful fall day with Phaelim at the helm here. And I am your local carriage driver, trying to dispel some of the myths and lies and horrible untruths that these zealots proliferate about us. We have nothing to hide. Our horses are on 59th Street every day for the whole world to come and see. And an appropriate tune is playing there. We have saxophone player sitting over there playing New York, New York. What could be more appropriate? And I see on various Humaniac sites that we don't give our horses water. Well, let's see. Of course, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. But there's one of the water troughs at Central Park. There's one at the entrance to the park and one at the exit here when we're coming out. Phaelum doesn't look like he wants a drink, so maybe next time. So, waiting for people to come along here. Waiting for people to come along here. Would you like a ride, folks? Carriage?
Home video.
Where we work here is designated to us by the City of New York. We have what we call hack stands. And this one is on 59th and 5th. Our rates are also regulated by the city. Each carriage has a rate card with the price. All right, Joe. And each carriage also has a number plate on the back. So like I said, there's 4 licenses necessary to run the carriage. The license on the back, the license for the driver, the license for the horse, and of course the license for the stable. So when they say this business isn't regulated, I'm afraid they're lying to